The new LinkedIn Hiring Pro can't undo your last hire. The empty seat. Who was actually just that, an empty chair in your office because you couldn't find someone to fill it. So it just sat there costing you money with all its fancy ergonomic features. But LinkedIn Hiring Pro can make it easy to fill that seat with the right candidate, with nearly 60% of businesses finding someone to interview in the first week alone. Hire right the first time with LinkedIn Hiring Pro. Post a free job today at linkedin.com/quality.
Study and play come together on a Windows 11 PC. And for a limited time, college students get the best of both worlds. Get the Unreal College Deal. Everything you need to study and play with select Windows 11 PCs. Eligible students get a year of Microsoft 365 Premium and a year of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with a custom color Xbox wireless controller. Learn more at windows.com/student offer. While supplies last. Ends June 30th. Terms at aka.ms/collegepc.
Most people have two moves when a coworker disrespects them. Both are losing moves. Today, I'm giving you 3 phrases that actually work. Welcome back to Speaking with Confidence, the podcast that helps you build the soft skills that lead to real results. Communication, storytelling, public speaking, and showing up with confidence in every conversation that counts. I'm Tim Newman, a recovering college professor turned communication coach, and I'm thrilled to guide you on a journey to becoming a powerful communicator. Here's the scenario. You're in a meeting, you start making a point, and a coworker cuts you off like you weren't even in the room. The space goes quiet. Everyone is watching to see what you do next. Most people pick one of 2 losing moves. They force a nervous laugh and shrink back into the chair where they'll replay that moment for the next 3 days. Or they snap back with something sharp that makes them look defensive and unhinged. The reality is, neither one works. Both hand the other person complete control. What nobody tells you is what's actually happening in that silence and what to do about it. Here's what most people get wrong about this. They think it's a confidence problem, but it's not. It's a perceived cost problem. Disrespectful coworkers are not random. They've been collecting data on you since day one. They watch how you responded to a small interruption in your first week. They notice how you handled being corrected in front of the group. And they clocked whether you laughed it off, went quiet, or started over-explaining. If you over-explain yourself every time someone questions your work, you're essentially posting a sign that says, my boundaries, well, they're negotiable. And once that sign goes up, it's very hard to take it down. Because here's the thing about workplace dynamics that nobody says out loud. This is not about whether you are likable. It's about whether crossing you feels expensive. John Maxwell puts it simply. People move towards what they respect, not what they like. I have seen brilliant, well-liked people get steamrolled in meetings for years because everyone knew, either consciously or not, that there were no consequences for doing it. Now, I've seen people who were not particularly warm or charming command instant respect in a room, simply because it was clear they had standards and they enforced them. You don't need these people to like you. You need them to understand that crossing you costs more than it's worth. The 3 phrases I'm about to give you are not emotional reactions. They are procedural resets. Think of them like a referee blowing a whistle. Not personal, not a confrontation. Just, this is what happens next. And the logic is simple enough that an 8th grader could follow it. If someone steps on your foot, you don't stand there explaining why it hurts. You move your foot. And it's the same principle. You are not negotiating. You're resetting the field. So let's start with phrase number 1. I'm going to stop you right there. Standard polite phrases like excuse me or just a moment fail for a specific reason. They function as requests. And someone who just talked over you has already shown they don't care about your permission. You are asking for something from a person who just demonstrated they're not interested in giving it to you. That's not a great opening position. I'm going to stop you right there is different. You aren't asking, you're making a declaration. And because the act of stopping them is already happening as you say it, it lands as a statement of fact and not a negotiation. The key here is delivery. It's calm, it's flat, like you're pressing pause on a video, not picking a fight. There's no edge in your voice, and there's no apology either. Just a simple, factual observation that a pause is happening right now. When you hit that verbal pause button, something shifts in the room. The person who is steamrolling you suddenly looks like they walked into a glass door. They're the one that's off balance, not you. And here's where most people ruin it. They follow up the phrase with an explanation or a qualifier, or maybe even a nervous apology that gives back every inch of ground that they just gained. They say something like, I'm going to stop you right there. Sorry, I just want to make sure I finish my thought. I don't mean to be rude. Every word after the phrase dilutes it. So don't. Remember, every word after the phrase dilutes it. Say it, and then stop talking. Let the silence do the work. That silence might feel uncomfortable for about 2 seconds. Good. Let it land on them. I watched this play out in a sports sponsorship meeting a few years ago. A junior rep 2 years out of college was presenting to a room full of senior executives when a VP cut her off 30 seconds into her pitch. Without missing a beat, she looked directly at him and said, I'm going to stop you right there, with a completely flat tone. And then she went quiet. The VP leaned back in his chair, the room recalibrated, and she finished her presentation without a single interruption. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't make it personal. She just made it procedurally inconvenient for anyone to get in her way. And that's the move. Phrase number 2 is, that's not what I said. This one is for a sneakier kind of disrespect. You've seen it. Someone listens to your idea, then turns to the group and offers a helpful translation. They usually open with something like, I think what Sarah's trying to say is, before delivering a reductive, twisted version of your actual point. Then they argue against the fake version that they just invented. And that's a dominance move. A clean one, too, because it's dressed up as helpfulness. And it puts you in a trap. Either your ideas look bad, or you look thin-skinned for pushing back on someone who was only trying to help. That's not what I said breaks the trap immediately. Notice what you are not saying. You're not saying, let me clarify. That phrase implies your original statement was unclear. It puts partial responsibility for the confusion on you, and it gives them an out. That's not what I said draws a clean line. You aren't defending your idea. You're correcting their listening. And those are two completely different things, and everyone in the room picks up on the distinction immediately. I want to be clear about something here, because this is where people hesitate. This is not rude. It is accurate. If someone misrepresented what you said, the factual statement is, that is not what I said. You are not attacking them. You are simply correcting the record. After you say it, restate your original point exactly as you said it the first time. No modifications, no softening. If you adjust your language to make it more palatable, you might signal that their version might have some merit. Stick to your original wording. Then move on with the conversation like it's already settled, because it is. Do this once or twice with the same person, and the dynamic shifts permanently. They will start quoting you instead of paraphrasing you, because paraphrasing you has started to cost them something. Now, phrase number 3 is, I'll need you to handle that differently next time. This one covers the slow burn disrespect. The coworker who consistently forgets to include you in group emails, who takes credit for your ideas in a status update, or who steps in and takes over your project because they tell you with a straight face that they didn't realize it was yours. The behavior is always just vague enough that calling it out feels like overreacting. That ambiguity is not an accident. It's the strategy. They are betting that your discomfort with looking petty will keep you quiet. And for a lot of people, that bet pays off. Not because those people are weak, but because nobody gave them a phrase that handles the situation without turning it into a whole thing. This is that phrase. When you say, I'll need you to handle that differently next time, you flip the script entirely. You aren't making an accusation. You aren't demanding an explanation. You're issuing an instruction. The past is already over. The only thing on the table is their future behavior, and you've already decided what that needs to look like. Compare it to saying, please don't do that again. Hear the difference? Please don't is a request. It sounds like you are hoping they will comply. I'll need you to sounds like management. It's the language of someone already operating from a position of authority, even if you and this person are peers on paper. This is the kind of communication that separates people who get promoted from people who just get pitied. Your delivery here matters more than the words themselves. You want to sound completely matter of fact, almost bored, like you're reading off terms and conditions, not issuing a warning. So there's no heat, there's no edge. It's just a calm, clear statement of what comes next. If they get defensive or try to explain themselves, don't take the bait. Don't argue. Don't relitigate what happened. Just repeat the same expectation in the same tone and then end the conversation. Walk away. You usually don't have to say it a third time, because now the cost of crossing you is visible, and that changes everything. These 3 phrases work as a system. The first one handles the obvious in-the-moment interruption. The second handles the sneaky reframe. And the third handles the pattern, the slow drip of behavior that's easy to explain away one incident at a time. And together, they cover almost every form of workplace disrespect you're likely to encounter. And they'll all work on the same principle. Stop explaining yourself. Start giving instructions. Here's what I want you to take away from this episode. The people who treat you poorly are not doing it because they are evil. They are doing it because the math works out in their favor. Low cost, no consequence. It's an easy win. And your job is to change the math, not by being aggressive, not by turning every slight into a confrontation, but by making it quietly, consistently clear that disrespecting you is going to cost more effort than just being professional. And if you've been listening to this show for a while, you know what sits underneath all 3 of these phrases. It's the concept I keep coming back to, listening like you're wrong. You hold your position with confidence, and you stay genuinely open to real dialogue. But you're not a doormat, and these phrases are how you communicate that without ever having to say it directly. Your challenge this week is simple. Pick one of these 3 phrases, the one that covers the situation you run into most often. Practice saying it out loud before you need it, in the car, in the mirror, wherever. The goal is for it to feel completely natural when the moment actually comes, because it will come, and when it does, you'll be ready. That's all for today. Remember, we're looking for progress, not perfection. Be sure to visit speakingwithconfidencepodcast.com to get your free ebook, The Top 21 Challenges for Public Speakers and How to Overcome Them. You can also register for the Formula for Public Speaking course. Always remember, your voice has the power to change the world. We'll talk to you next time. Take care.